welcome back to Restoring Little Girl. Got a whole lot of stuff we're going to be doing this morning. Actually, this morning I started all this early this morning, and all my camera gear failed, so this is actually afternoon now. But anyway, I'm up in Vermont, and I want to bring you up to date on a whole bunch of stuff. First of all, we're going to do a What's New corner that we haven't done in a long time. And on this What's New corner, I have been ordering stuff and getting it in, and yeah, I'm one of this. I guess I'm like everybody else that I get a lot of stuff off the internet, and when I get it, I just get chomping at the bit to watch it coming in and opening it up. And so I'm going to share some of that with you. Also, a little gift from a friend of mine, Ryan Mann. I just want to share that one with you. Anyway, and a couple of projects that we're going to get started on here shortly. So let me turn this around, and we're going to go ahead and begin with What's New Corner. And like I said, got a lot to do on this one. First up on New Stuff Corner, in the last video I was complaining about the fact that Weems and Plath had not sent me my screws. Well, they sent me my screws. They got home and they were here. So where are they? Anyway, these are just the heads on these are painted black so that they properly face with the new ship's clock. And you know, I just wanted the consistency because the barometer and the ship clock are both the same look, and you know, anyway, just consistency. So anyway, those came in. Thank you, Weems and Plath. You're good about your promise to get them out to me. And also in the last video, we were talking about the whole idea. And I guess it's 2 videos ago when we were talking about talking about prepping for solo. I talked about some books that I had coming in, and this is one of them. And I've been reading this. I've already got just a little bit into it, a couple of chapters. One Hand for Yourself, One for the Ship. Essentials of Single-Handed Sailing with Tristan Jones. This guy has sailed all over the world. Just a very experienced sailor. Good reading. And so just a really decent book for the wintertime reading to get yourself all prepped for summer. And looking forward to doing some single-handing myself this summer. Another one that I brought in, ordered, is this Stress-Free Sailing, Single and Short-Handed Techniques. And as soon as I got this, I said, that was on somebody's boat. Guaranteed, because it's warped. You can see it's just really warped. I don't think it got wet, but it was definitely on somebody's boat. And, you know, the humidity kind of gets to a book after a while. But this is an awesome book. It talks about your lines, how to coil your rope. That's one of the things I definitely need work on. Talk about double braid stuff, and just excellent all the way through. Moorings, knots. It is so good and all very well illustrated. Docking, getting into finger berths and so on and so forth. So just a really excellent. Looking forward to absorbing this one. I like I said, the thing I like about this is that it's just so well illustrated and just gives you so much wonderful information about rigging and all of it. It's just excellent. So anyway, yeah, I haven't even started on this one yet, but just looking through it, I'm loving it. So another good book, Stress-Free Sailing, Single and Short-Handed Techniques. By the way, I got all these through, hang on, let me get over here. And you can see if you can get them this way too. Through Thrift Books, largest online used bookstore. And hey, I don't mind that they're used. They're going to be fine for me. I mean, as long as I can read them and learn from them, that's all I care about. This one has a little rip up in the corner, but I'm going to fix that. I got some clear plastic tape I'm going to put on that corner. Okay, next. When I was in the middle of talking about that with prepping for solo, I got a text from Ryan, a text or email, whatever, and he said, you might want to try this. He said, this is great, just keep it in your bathroom book. Anyway, it's called Voyage of the American Promise with Dodge Morgan. And this is really, really just good reading, and I'm looking forward to it. Looks like good stuff. Solo sailing around the world, good stuff. Also, back at Christmas time, and I never mentioned it, my son and his wife gave me a couple of books, and you know how I love wood, and this is a really excellent edition of Wooden Boat Magazine. I used to get this all the time back when I was building Clarissa, and I've got probably a bunch of old issues around, but yeah, just really neat stuff. Just a lot of fun being able to look at stuff that other guys have built and are building. Really cool. Okay. Now let's see. What else? Okay, another thing on What's New Corner is right here. Just before we left and come back home after this last trip down, I got a call from Ryan. He said, "Come and get this." And so I met him up near the post office there in Centerville, and he brought this to me. And this is awesome because what I've got on my boat right now is double jam cleats, and where the lines are going to be feeding back to the cockpit. I got double jam cleats. Not the most practical things in the world. This is practical. This will take the place. Right where those two are, they're coming off, and this is going on. And both my lines, this is for 5/16 and above, and that's my line for both the halyards, main and jib. And by the way, they've got something different here, spinnaker halyard. Well, I know which one's which, and if I can get labels correct. This can stay, but I'd like to get one that says main halyard. Anyway, they're in good condition. I've cleaned them up a lot and cut all the caulking off the bottom for the most part. There's a lot on there, but yeah, these are going to go right aboard Little Girl. Going to be excellent for feeding the lines back to the halyards back to the cockpit, and yeah, very cool. Last thing, and we're going to be getting into this when we do our next project here, and I'm going to be setting it up. Last thing, I needed this for getting into the whole project with the tracks on my, for my hatches. And I went down to Home Depot thinking I could get the 1 yard version of this, and I got there and it was gone. They had two of them, and so I had to get the 4 foot version, and I'm so glad that I did. This is really good quality stuff, and I'm just going to you'll be seeing this again when I set everything up to show you what we're doing with the tracks and the repairs that we're going to have to make. One last thing on New Stuff Corner, and before I do that, let me just do this. This is another one of the projects. You've already seen me do this. This is the over-under fair lead, okay? And as I mentioned before, Ryan said, you might want to do that in something a little more solid. And so I went to his house. That was in the last video. And I cut out a piece of starboard. And I don't know if you can see the... yeah, there it is. It's partially wiped off when I cleaned it up. But anyway, there's the that's already been copied on there. I'll just take this out to the bandsaw, do my holes, etc., and we'll have a brand new copy of the fairleads, and it's going to be in this really, really hard starboard material, and hold up a lot longer with the lines running through it. So, all right. like I said in the last video, you notice I didn't put my hands anywhere near that until that was completely off. Okay, so there it is. Well, you can't, there you go. Now you can see it. All right, got a lot of shaping up to do, some cleaning up as far as the edges are concerned, and smoothing, and we got to put some bevels on the inside of the holes, you know, on each side, and okay, there gets us started anyway. Well, one thing I'll say, this takes a whole lot more work to sand it out and smooth those edges than this stuff. This old fascia board was just nothing to it. I mean, already, now that's getting smooth. I mean, get all the saw marks. You see this? These are like the saw marks where the teeth went through, right? All that was like all over this, but I'll tell you, it took a lot of sanding to get that to smooth up like that. And of course, I mean, I'm going to be using a finer sandpaper ultimately. All right, now I'm just using this old disc trying to use it up. Let's see, what is this stuff? I forgot what the grit on this was. Oh, this is 120. I mean, that's not hardly any grit at all. Yeah, I'm going to get a coarser sandpaper and see if I can't get this done a little faster. Okay, so I've got this pretty much all shaped, sanded out, nicely done. Holes are even beveled a little bit, not entirely done yet, but pretty much. And so all that's left now is to put these holes in, just like I did in this one. These are where the screws go in down through and into the cabin top to hold this secure. And so this always makes me nervous when I do this, because I want these to end up dead center like those on the bottom, and whatever. Yeah, but I usually get it right, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. I've not made a mark with pretty much dead center. A little bit off, not bad. Anyway, first one's done. Yeah, let's see. And by the way, you'll notice I'm using a block underneath this because I'm not going into the towel or the tabletop. So. Yep, pretty good. All right. So those are done. And I just need to relieve these a little bit up on top so that when the screws go in, the screws, I'm going to have probably panhead screws, excuse me, not panhead, oval head screws, so that they can sit down in there. And I'm going to just relieve these a little bit, and we're good to go. So there is a starboard version out of, rather than this thing, which is fascia board stuff. A whole lot. This is probably about 3 times harder than the fascia board. And I think Ryan's right. I think this will probably last a whole lot longer. All right, there we go. Okay, guys, here we are talking about the tracks that my hatch covers slide in. I've got this clamped up at the aft end. This is where the back toward the cockpit, and it's dead level with the bottom of the track here, where it begins to slide back. But I want you to see this. Watch this. Look how much that dives down. That, my friend, is a lot. You got at least a full 1/8 of an inch here at the 20-inch mark, and then it tapers back. But I'll tell you, and by the way, it becomes dead level back here, because that is flat, that is straight there toward the back. but here in the middle, that is all from 50 years of wear and tear. As the hatch cover slides back, it has worn the teak away. That's how much. Can you see right there? It has worn the teak away completely. Well, not completely, but you see how much. And that's why, as you slide the aft hatch, which is the one you go down through the companionway with, as you slide that back, it dives lower as it goes forward, and begins to drag on the forward part of the hatch. So anyway, that, by the way, this is the port side of the track here, and when you do the same thing on the starboard, basically it's exactly the same thing, and this is why it doesn't slide smoothly. It grates, or it has friction, and that's what's worn away teak over 50 years of wear and tear. Okay, well, let's talk about hardnesses for a few minutes here. One of the things I did, I checked out, like I said, teak. I already mentioned it's 1,155 for a hardness rating. Sapele, which is a really good one and is used as a lot of interior trim on sailboats, is 1,500. What I didn't want to use is a Meranti, which that's what I use for my the trim around the companionway. Well, it's fine for external use and wears well, but not in terms of hardness. I mean, where it's just going to sit there and look pretty, well, that's fine. It's 8 to 825. But this stuff is called Red Balau, or Balau, okay? And it's got a hardness rating of 1,600. It is wicked. I don't know if you can tell by just listening, but this stuff is wicked hard. Got awesome straight grain, which is exactly what I want for these strips that are going to go on the inside of the tracks, and to reinforce and make sure that that track, as it slides back, is going to go straight back. It's not going to dive down. It's not going to rub on not going to allow the hatches to rub on the forward hatch. So anyway, this is what I'm going to be using. I could have bought some Sapele, but it would cost more because it was in this 8-inch wide stuff. Well, I could get Red Balau in 4-inch wide, and it ended up costing me a whole lot less than it would to buy Sapele. Either one of them are really, really good hardwoods. But this is what I'm going to use, and I've got to get out in the garage and rip this into two thin strips that are going to go on and be attached to the inside of the tracks, both port and starboard. So that's what we're doing, and I'll explain more as we get further into this. Perfect. Okay, I ran that a second time through for a reason. It's because as this was going through, I felt it tipping a little bit, and I was not getting a good even cut all the way through. And I wanted it to be the full 3/4 of an inch up into the groove there that I was cutting. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go reset our guide here, and we're going to reset it for 3/4 of an inch. And then when we cut it the second time, that will be the strip that we're going to be using on the excuse me, on the track to reinforce. Hang on a minute, I got to get this right here. Very, very picky. Good, right there. That is very consistent. Okay, there's our 3/4 of an inch. Now let's go ahead and cut this, and that should be good for what we're looking for. Here we go. Wow. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I've got a hand cut. It's like, I don't know if you can see that, it's the narrower strip here. That's what I'm looking for. The wide one, I'm probably could use it for something else, but not for this. This narrow strip is what we're going to be using on the inside of the track. Okay, good to go. I got to do a little hand cut here on this end. But then after that, this is freed up and we can take it in and line it up on the track and see what we're going to do as far as fitting it. Okay, well, I'm starting the strip 2.5 inches back from the beginning of, well, let's put it this way. This is the edge of the companionway right here. This is, in other words, the back edge toward the cockpit, okay? And I'm starting at 2.5 inches in because all this is completely flat here. There's not a problem with the flatness and where it's starting. But then I've got it very carefully lined up all the way back with these clamps all the way back to here, and it's flat again back there. So I'm just going to show you. Here's my straight edge that I bought. Let's see if I can get this in position. Come on, come on. There we go. There you go, guys. It's about as straight as you can get it right there. All the way up. And with that, this is port side. I'll do the same thing on starboard. This is the only one I'm going to show because I'm not going to duplicate here. But with that, what we're going to do with it, now that this is completely lined up, and by the way, you'll notice inside here how much meat it's compensating for. In other words, where that track dove, kind of was beveled downward, it's compensating for all of that, and there's still plenty of room for the hatch to get by. There's plenty of room right there, and it's just straight as an arrow all the way back. So with that, now that these are all lined up, everything's perfect. What I'm going to do is go ahead and drill some pilot holes where I'm going to be putting stainless screws, not brass. I don't want to do brass. Some stainless flathead screws that will actually be down into the meat of the red blue and hold everything in place. This red blue, by the way, is very tight grain. It is reputed to not split, but just retain its shape and hardness, and that's what we're looking for right there, is just try to get a nice even straight grain all the way back so that the hatch can slide back evenly. We're going to do this port and starboard. Okay guys, here we are with the hatch act. We're still working on this. Now we're moving on to the actual hatch covers. This is where somebody literally filed out a section of the forward edge, the aft edge of the forward hatch. I'm guessing probably to run a wire through from inside the cabin to the outside of the cabin. I don't have any reason to be running a wire through a notch in one of my hatch covers. It makes zero sense to me, because this is just an opportunity for a big wave to come pushing a geyser right through there if it needed to. So anyway, but you see over on the back side of this, it's not only filed out or carved out in some way, it's actually created a very weak area here, and it looks like there's a crack. Now this is part of this is crack in the paint. I realize that. But in order to do this thing justice, I'm going to have to take my rasp and really file down and get into the meat of this, so that I'm exposing some good, solid fiberglass all the way around it, because we're going to have to build that up, and even into here. The thing is, you're never going to see this, because, like I said, the aft edge of the back hatch comes right up against this, okay? And it doesn't come all the way down, but the aft edge comes right up against this, and you're never going to see it, because, I mean, from the cockpit, this is completely hidden. So I'm not going to worry about it a whole lot, but I am going to get this all dug out, sanded out, get all the paint off from it, and we're going to do a major fiberglass job right in here and reinforce this and build this edge back up to where it's flush with the rest of the edge. Well, thankfully, guys, I did have my Dremel here in Vermont, and this is went and got out to the car and got it, and I've been working on this, and it's taking it out very, very nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more here. It's very loud, so I'm not going to do too much of it. I've got to be able to pull the gel coat back further from this crack. I mean, this is not just a notch that they cut out. It's actually cracked pretty badly going up into the surface here. So I'm having to get enough surface area free down to the glass to where we can get a good bite with our fiberglass and resin. You get the idea. A little loud. Anyway, I'm going to get this cleaned off and see how much more we're going to have to do. I've already got it done on the outside of this, and I'll show it to you after we get this cleaned up. Okay, guys, well, that's it for this episode of Restoring Little Girl. Suffices to say, a lot is getting accomplished. I've just kind of kicked into high gear here, and so what you're going to see is that we're going to just end it right here with everything kind of in midstream. And sorry to leave you midstream, but we're going to be going right on and continuing with the work. And there'll be another one coming out with the same projects and just showing you the progress as we go. I am chomping at the bit to get these hatch covers done. And like I said, I'm ready to get going here with doing some fiberglass work, but I just really want to take the time tomorrow morning to get over to Home Depot and pick up some acetone to clean all this fiberglass down before we get going with the glass. So, all right, guys, glad to have you by, and sorry, like I said, to leave you midstream here, but I got work to do, and we can't jam everything into one episode. So there's going to be another one coming up as soon as I get done with this one. I'm just going to continue filming, and we'll come up with another episode with the rest of the work that's going to finish this up. All right. Thanks for coming by. Take care. Bye.